Hello, welcome back to the channel. Good to have you back. My name is Benji. I'm the controversial cyclist, and I'm going to get straight into today's video. Right, so we are covering 3 YouTube cycling influencers. Oh my god, what's happening? A big drama in the world of YouTube cycling influencers. Am I one? Well, I was for a little bit, then I got banned, but that's not going to shut me up from my point of view, and hopefully bringing a alternative thought process backed up with facts to these subjects. Oh, let's get into it then. Who are the 3 people that we're talking about today? Okay, first of all, it's Reginald Scot, and it's all to do with chain waxing. Oh no, spoiler alert. You saw from there as the picture of Reginald Scot, you will see Adam from Zero Friction Cycling, and they're in a spat, obviously, about immersive chain waxing. Oh, really. This is Cycle, rightly or wrongly. I don't really know how Reginald Scot keeps seeming to bring other people into the spats that he creates. There was a spat between Hambini not so long ago and Adam from Zero Friction Cycling, and Reginald was involved in backing Zero Friction Cycling up. It looks like he's actually turned on Adam now. So it just seems that maybe he fell out with Adam. Didn't give him enough respect, or maybe he just got bored now, and it was an internal plan to sort of get at Hambini and then turn on Adam. I really don't know. But whatever it is, I don't protect any of them because I don't particularly like any of them. I haven't got a relationship with any of them. And if I'll be honest, they've never ever done anything good for me. So it's not like this is personal. This is me now looking at this going, when people are using the word and they're now all fight on their level of integrity, not one of them has got a shred of integrity between them. Wasting hours of your time. Now let's put this into context. Adam from Zero Friction Cycling has made almost 4 hours or 5 hours of content calling out Reginald Scot and his beliefs and his methodology of chain waxing. Reginald Scot has made probably about 2.5 hours of waxing content, which is directed at Zero Friction Cycling now. So you're now looking at a total of probably about 6 to 7 hours of YouTube time where these guys are going head to head to try and prove their point. Now, one, as I can see, is absolutely, in love with immersive chain waxing and wants to tell the world about it. And obviously that's Adam from Zero Friction Cycling. His whole business is based around that. And it looks like that Reginald Scot, who does make his own chain oil and sells it in his shop because has a bicycle shop and he is a bicycle mechanic, much like Oz Cycle, seems to disagree. Now, Oz Cycle is a chain waxer, as I can make out, but he's come up with his own super unique, no expense spent way to wax your chain, which is obviously in complete conflict with anything that Adam does from Zero Friction Cycling. Now, if you can follow all of this, it's not that complicated. It's just like handbags at dawn for all these people. Reginald Scot seems to flip-flop on the back of this. He was backing up Zero Friction Cycling, asking him for, methodologies to follow, using a lot of his data in his videos to make content with, championing him, which is absolutely fine. But he seems to have just turned around and turned on him and has jumped onto Oz Cycle, view of him, with the same rhetoric about how chain waxing is worth nothing and should be, done for next to nothing or free, and calling Adam from Zero Friction Cycling a snake oil salesman. Now, this is not in protection of Adam because I don't like any of them. I'm not protecting any of them because I don't think any of them have got any integrity. But I'm going to go and prove that now. But I do think that Reginald himself here has absolutely lost the plot with this because I think he's going to come off worse. But let's go and see why. So very quickly, if you need to find something out that's based on either fame, ego, or protection of business or money, where do you come? Well, you come to the bit where the money's involved, and that means you've got to look at the product if they're selling products. Well, this is what Zero Friction Cycling is selling. This is why I disagree with Reginald Scot on what he's saying. It needs to be, well, it doesn't need to be careful. He can say what he wants, can't he? Like I've got my opinion, he's got his. My channel shouldn't be shut down, if that's my opinion. Should his channel be shut down for calling Adam from Zero Friction Cycling is a snake oil salesman? I don't think so, because I think it's a healthy debate, but I don't think that that statement via Reginald Scot is true. And he has not backed that up. There's no truth in that. That's just his opinion. But because he thinks he's Rain Man, or likes to think that he's the most logical person on the planet, he thinks that he's been able to prove it. No, it's just your opinion. No offense there, mate. It's just your opinion. Now, the fact is this, is that it doesn't matter if Zero Friction Cycles is selling you something that you don't need. First of all, you don't have to buy it. Secondly is he selling a product for you to use? Well, yes, he has. There's a chain there. Well, you need that for your bicycle to work. So if you need a new chain, you went and bought one from Zero Friction Cycling and he waxed it for you, well, your chain will work better with a form of lubrication on it. So if he was a snake oil salesman, it would be like he was selling something and there was absolutely no use to it. You couldn't find any benefit to it. It's just a complete scam. Well, he isn't a complete scammer, is he? He's offering a level of service that people are prepared to pay for. If they weren't prepared to pay for it, then he wouldn't be in business. But the next point that we've got to find out is this level of service being offered in a way that is built on complete lies? And I will be honest with you, no. It's built on the data that Adam has collated himself, that he's in control of. Does that mean that data is good for me? No, you need to use it and look at it in the context that it is for the individual and your own cycling needs. Now, is Adam making his audience on YouTube as aware as he is in the stuff that you can download from his website? I believe not, but he has put out both. So he has put out both levels of information for you. Is his YouTube channel a bit misleading compared with what he's printed on his website and what he gives away freely that you could download that information? Yes, I would say that, but that's maybe because he's in chain waxing all the time. So I'm not protecting Adam here. I'm just saying that I think Reginald here has lost the plot. He's gone out on one or off on one, and I think it's personal choice. Whether he had a hatred for Adam before and he was just trying to gang up against Hambini or whatever it is, these stupid spats. Is it like WWE, where you're creating fake stories and narratives to be relevant and grow your channels? I don't know. How would I know that? Because that wasn't available to me because I got cancelled. So there we go. But let's have a look at why I believe he's been a bit harsh on Adam here. I'm not trying to tread the line, but I believe that actually Reginald needs to be exceedingly careful because, first of all, his datum and his referencing is coming to somebody called OzCycle. Now, let's have a look who OzCycle really is. This is the facts why I would never have anything to do with him, and I won't say a good word about him because these are the facts behind who he is. It's like Jurian Ryder. There are factual things that he's done which will destroy his credibility forever, that have physically harmed people. Okay, we'll go into that another day. I highlighted that on my previous channel that got shut down, most probably because of people like him. I'm a threat to these people for speaking the truth. But anyway, let's go back to this. I'm digressing here. Australian YouTuber OzCycle and wax enthusiast Stephen John Lefere sentenced to jail for 2 years for beating a neighbour's dog to death. That's OzCycle, okay? Let's move to the actual facts. This is ABC News. Stephen John Lefere jailed for beating a neighbour's dog to death near Victoria Harbour. Okay, literally, that dog there was beaten to death by OzCycle. He pleaded guilty. He tortured that dog, left it for a week, and then he came back and killed it. And I'm not going to dress this up. This is not for children, this channel. I never put any of my stuff as for children at all. If you can't handle that and you can't handle the facts, this is normal ABC News, by the way. This is not a horror channel, and you should be able to read the news and not be offended by that. If you're offended by that, I would say use your integrity. If you do not like the way that somebody acts in general, outside of their working relationship or outside their channel, I would say act off of that. I'm not saying what to do. I'm not bringing him down and saying this is what he does now. I'm just saying these are the facts. So why is Reginald in wanting to use and forming relationships with people that are so low, and he thinks he's morally higher than other people? I don't know. I think there's a disconnect in his own brain there. Now, does that mean that everything that AusCycle is doing within the cycling world a lie or a scam? Well, no. But you do need to understand that AusCycle not only has done this in his spare time for whatever reason, and has been sent to, well, it's gone to court and he was sent to prison for it. He himself is doing unboxing videos. Now, if you're doing an unboxing video and you're getting a constant stream of, products from cycling brands, then that proves that you have, that's the proof. And the truth is that you were given those products to test. Now, if you're in the mainstream cycling media, that test kit will get passed around or you'll get given it for free. Usually the bikes get passed around in the mainstream media like you used to motorcycle test bikes, and they'll get sent to different magazines to cover and someone can test the bike. Now, in the case of YouTube cycling influencers, they are given the frame set, they build it up themselves, or they're sent the complete bike from China, and 9 times out of 10 that bike's never asked for back again. And then they can sell that on, or they keep it themselves. That's the deal with YouTube. That's the deal with the way that the YouTube cycling influencer world works. Now, is that shilling? Yes, it is, because you've already got a product to back that up. So, as Reginald Scot likes to think he's cleaner, he's whiter than white, and he can work with anyone that's got the better narrative for him to win the argument and put his point across, and then destroy that other person's argument and it doesn't live. I think that's quite babyish, and I think that that's quite weak. Now, however any of these people see me, these are the facts. Like, Adam's not a snake oil salesman. That's the fact. He's selling services that people want and that people buy. And there are goods that are changing hands for that people see. It's not a scam. They are using them on their bikes and they're seeing benefits for that. So I hope both Adam, Reginald and AusCycle, who watches this video, can understand that they're the facts, But was Reginald really in a position to start calling people out for either being shills or grifters? Well, he champions titanium, and he champions titanium by a brand called Litespeed. Now, he used to import these bikes into Brunei. And this started 6 years ago, and this was posted via, which I believe is a bit of a low blow, actually. This is a low blow where I don't think any of them have got any integrity. This was posted via Zero Friction Cycling Adam on one of his videos to have a bit of a dig at Reginald, saying that his real name is not Reginald Scot, his real name is Ali Abdullah, and aka Mr. Grant. So we don't really know what we're dealing with, but does that really matter? People use stage names all the time. I understand that, if he's married to someone that is of the Muslim faith, then he's going to take a different name. Obviously, if he enters into that and he becomes a practicing Muslim, that shouldn't be called out. That's just his religion. We shouldn't be calling people's religion. It's ridiculous. That doesn't make him a worse or, a greater or a lesser of a person. So I do think that all of them are losing sight of integrity here at all. I do think that Reginald's not in a place to keep pushing titanium and saying that, and it's factually incorrect that he says that well, it is factually incorrect. Metal bikes don't have issues with holes being cut in them because of the tolerances that are worked to. I mean, that's bullshit. That's not the fact at all. I've had cube aluminium press fit BBs that the holes weren't cut straight. That's it. Bottom bracket was skewy, offset. It was absolute garbage. So this whole finger pointing and fighting these fights from your own side of belief, I got no beef with titanium. I think it looks like a great product. I've never owned a titanium bike. I've only ridden one once. It seemed nice. I've owned steel bikes, love them. I've owned carbon bikes, love them. I've owned aluminium bikes, I love them. And I've ridden crap in all of those metals as well. So I've ridden crap aluminium, I've ridden crap steel, and I've ridden crap carbon, if you want to talk about plastic ones. So that's it. There's good and bad wherever you are. It's what you like at the end of the day. Again, championing rim brakes over disc brakes. Reginald is tribalistic to these things, and it's not helping him, in my opinion. But I think the facts are not helping him, because he's willing to flip-flop to win an argument with just reverting back to people that have got absolutely no credibility. Now, Ozcycle has no credibility. People won't touch him with the barge pole because of this. A lot of his content has been made around shilling, Yolio, Trifox, all of these Chinese cycling brands that he gets for free. And obviously he's going to keep saying good things about them. Elite wheels, of course, they're the fastest wheels on the planet for him. Bearing in mind, Winspass, why not? He can do that. Bearing in mind that Reginald Scot was a Winspass distributor. And when I asked him, and he made a video not so long ago, because he's no longer a Winspass distributor, and he was talking out against them, saying that, the hubs were basically failing after 300 kilometers. I said, well, was that hard for you to carry on doing it? And them not changing, Winspass not changing the ways that they dealt with this whole scenario of what looks like a poorly made hub. And I respect him for speaking the truth about this, especially after it takes a lot of balls to do that. But he then turned around and said, well, it happened after. You're like, well, quite evidently it didn't happen after 5 or 6 years, did it? You knew all of this, but you carried on stocking the brand for whatever reason. You carried on distributing it. You carried on promoting it. I'm not saying he should have stopped. I'm saying that's the evilness of business. That's the horrible thing within the cycling industry as well, or any industry. Once you put money into a brand, once you are signed up, you've got to make do and make the best for the way your money's invested. And I do believe that, but it is fucking hard morally, and it's a hard place to be. So to wrap up this video, there is no hate against any individual here. I'm highlighting the facts. I believe they've all lost their integrity. I don't believe Ozcycle could ever get his integrity back. I don't believe that autism is being on autistic spectrum is a good enough excuse for going and torturing and murdering a dog. And obviously the court didn't believe that either, because he got sent to prison. He got sent to prison for 7 months, okay? That was him in prison, and he was on probation. It was a total of 18 months, the whole of his sentence. So there's enough of that. He disappeared from YouTube for 7 months, and that was why. So, Reginald, is he losing his integrity? Well, yeah, pretty much. Are you shilling or aren't you? Well, I'm afraid you pointed the finger at Zero Friction Cycling, Adam, and Adam's come back and he's pointing the finger at you, and maybe just sort it out, guys. You're both offering services. You're both in an industry where you need to survive, and I don't think you're going to be able, because your survival is based on promoting things, and you say it's from your own belief system. But when that's paying when that's putting food on your table, I don't think you can have a critical opinion. It's a bit more personal than that. Thanks for getting to the end of this one. Please like, please subscribe if you like this type of content, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now.